Bow, 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 bow. Hey, everybody. Did you like how I just did my own theme song just there? I hope you did. Jay here with a quick interruption. I don't have ads, so I'm going to advertise myself in the middle of this podcast. Why not? This is somewhere north of 300 episodes when you're listening to this. And golly gee, it has been a journey, and I appreciate you coming with me on that journey for this whole time that you've been here. Maybe you've been here from the beginning. Maybe you've been here since like an episode ago. I'm just glad you're here. But I do have to say this. We here at Blockbusting, and there's literally a we. Chorkin, come around. Come around to the other side of the camera so we can see. Look, guys, I got a staff now, all right? I got interns, okay? I got producers. I got stuff to handle here at the space that I record at and elsewhere. And I want to be able to pay these people. And I, unfortunately, do not make the kind of money to pay these people myself. And that's where I hope that you can come in. By supporting the Blockbusting Patreon. Yes, that's right. We've got a Patreon. I haven't plugged it in a bit, but I'm going to start plugging it heavy now, because why not? I want to pay these folks, all right? And you can support the podcast for just as low as $1 a month, all right? $1 a month goes back into the show. I'm not even paying myself. I don't care about paying myself for this podcast. I care about giving a little something back to the people who help me out, because I'm getting a lot of help from people these days. And they deserve a little something for their efforts beyond just my eternal thanks and gratitude, which they're going to get anyway. So you can subscribe for $1 a month. You start getting access to bonus content from me, like I'm posting episodes of my game show Wrong that I'm doing here in Los Angeles that I'm not posting to the public. I'll start posting bonus episodes of me talking about stuff again. What's Good with Jay Light, where I just talk about what I liked that I saw on the television and the internet and stuff these days, because that's how you do for Patreon. We still have the JFlix level, the $5 tier, where you can get access to my full film, television, comedy special library. That's just $5 a month. It's cheaper than pretty much every streaming service out there, except for, I guess, Apple TV is $5 a month. And they have Severance and Ted Lasso, so you really can't go wrong there. And they got Coda. I mean, Coda, what a delight. But you know what I've got? Xanadu. And nobody else has that. Pfft, duh. I've got A Day Without a Mexican, Los Digits' least favorite movie. You listen to that episode, it's a great episode. But you just got to watch the movie, which I have on JFlix for $5 a month. I got a bunch of weird stuff. So go consider, please, subscribing to the Patreon for Blockbusting. The link is in the show notes. Or you can just go type into your little web browser right now, tippity-tap it into patreon.com/blockbusting. Again, that is patreon.com/blockbusting. And your support will go to helping me throw a little cash the way of the fine folks who help make this podcast happen. That's all I'm asking, is you throw me a little something so I can throw them a little something, okay? We're going direct, because, you know, this is like thoughts and prayers with guns. Like, saying thanks is only going to do so much. I want to give them cash, okay? At least buy them a coffee or something. So patreon.com/blockbusting. You can join and support for as little as $1 a month. And that's all there is, folks. Enjoy the rest of the episode.
Let me tell you something. Bustin' makes me feel good.
I've got my warm water, and I'm ready to talk about the Sandlot with you.
Your lukewarm water, good.
Just
good.
above
That'll
lukewarm.
keep you loose.
Oh yeah, that's why they call it. Should call it lukewarm
You
water.
should
Am
call
I right?
it loosey goosey juice.
I haven't had loosey goosey juice in 7 years. Okay, Austin.
Hey, congratulations.
How dare you? Thank you.
Congratulations on your sobriety. I am also sober. Oh, have we started recording?
No,
Oh,
I mean
okay,
we're
never mind.
recording, but we're not on
right.
the pod. We're not. This is not Welcome to Blockbusting. I'm your host Jay.
Oh, you
Light.
start it hard like that.
Yeah.
It starts. Okay, never
Yeah,
mind.
yeah.
I'll wait till that, and then I'll say my thing because I
Okay,
want
cool.
to keep it in.
Okay, great. Well, we could have just started right there because I literally said the intro, but I'll say it again.
Okay, no.
Hey everybody, welcome to. We're on our third intro for the podcast now. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Blockbusting, the podcast where we love to hate the movies. My mouth just hit the microphone, and I'm keeping it all in, folks. I'm your host, Jay Light. Joining me today, some know him as Stony McBlaze. I know him as Austin Kress.
Yes, Jay he's battling a lot of things right now. He's battling an injured member.
An injured member.
An injured member.
Yes.
And that member is a finger.
Yes.
He's also
when I think member, I usually think penis, but I
No,
did not bruise my
everyone-
penis on set yesterday.
Everyone does. I used the wrong word. Digit was what I was looking for, but I said member. And he's also battling lukewarm water to quench his thirst, and he's loving it. Did you see that's a
You
reaction?
saw that
of,
face?
That's a reaction of love.
I love this lukewarm water.
But I was calling it loosey goosey juice,
Mm-hmm.
and Jay said he hasn't had loosey goosey juice in 7 years. Congratulations on your your sobriety, your chip.
Thank you.
And I am also sober briefly today because weed makes me mellow and reasonable, and I didn't want either of those for my
Good.
discussion of the Sandlot. I'm going to be hyperbolic, vitriolic, and just generally mean-spirited.
As you should be.
Yeah.
You gotta come at this movie with the attitude of the random good baseball children who show up to make fun of the Sandlot kids. And then I hope that I can be the Sandlot kids and beat you into submission and send you crying home.
Oh, good.
This movie, okay, so a caveat, right? Which is there's obviously a level of nostalgia that plays into this movie and plays in any movie that's a kid's movie from like the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
There's a lot of movies that, I've talked about on the show that like fit that category, and I don't have any love for those movies because they weren't part of my childhood.
Yeah.
The Sandlot is a part of my childhood.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, good. I was hoping there'd be stakes.
Oh.
Something the movie doesn't have, but this podcast does, is stakes, and that's good.
What do you mean this movie doesn't have? Okay, we're gonna save that.
We'll say we can table the stakes, but I'm glad because I was sort of like in my preparation for it. I was like, am I just hating on a movie that like no one actually loves? And like I was like, oh, did I build this up? Did I have like one or two conversations of people that loved it? And then I checked out the IMDb score, 7.8.
It's really
out
highly
of
rated.
10 on IMDb, which means it is a good, maybe great, but not excellent, right? Like I don't know where the stars are for you on good, great, excellent.
I would give this movie a solid, at least 4 stars. I would say this is a good movie. I would give this, if we're going out of 10, it's good. It's getting an 8 from me. I think this is like,
which would be a great movie in my right. Like there's good, great, and then excellent.
No,
or is great the top of the scale?
that's
you?
for me. Great's the top of the
Okay,
scale.
great's the top of the scale.
I
Gotcha.
go great, good, okay, bad. Oh God.
So this movie, so great is the top. So this and like The Dark Knight would occupy the same level of quality of film in your mind.
No,
this
The
and
Dark Knight's
Goodfellas.
great.
This and Goodfellas,
The Goodfellas is great.
and so is Sandlot.
No, Sandlot's good.
Oh, Sandlot's good. Sorry,
Sandlot's
my bad. My
good.
bad. Sandlot's good.
But still,
Okay.
like you don't think
Okay,
it's
okay.
good, which is
No.
which is mind blowing to me.
Yeah. I don't think it's good at all. I think it's a hey, are you a vegetable? Put it on. You can't stop it. Like, do you need something to simply fill your eye space that's not offensive?
This is gonna get this will do the trick.
Yes,
This
that's
is
perfect.
This is about as inoffensive as movies it gets. I mean, here's
Mm-hmm.
the interesting thing, right? So on Rotten Tomatoes, this movie has a 64%. The site's critical consensus reads, it may be shamelessly derivative and overly nostalgic, but
Facts.
The Sandlot is nevertheless a genuinely sweet and funny coming-of-age adventure.
Only 2 of those are correct.
Which
Sweet
2?
and coming of age. It is not it's not funny, and there's no adventure.
Incorrect.
Okay,
It is funny.
No.
There are jokes that I still laughed at.
Really?
And there's also, I mean, they're fighting a junkyard dog for half of the movie, which I also completely forgot that half of this movie is not even baseball related. It's just them trying to get a baseball back. It's
From a
interest-
dog.
It's from a dog.
Yeah.
From a dog that
From Cujo, if we're being honest.
From Cujo, yes.
Yeah.
From a dog that is so terrifying
Yeah.
and large
Yeah.
that it can tear down a fence.
Jumped over the fence. Also,
It's so big it eats the baseball at one point.
Yeah.
The puppet dog eats a baseball. And they still are like, we got to get this baseball back. This shit-covered Babe Ruth baseball, we got to
Yeah.
get it back.
because when my dad gets back from his other family, he's gonna
Stepdad.
abuse me if I don't. The violence that would be wrought upon that child in the 60s would have been swift,
Especially from
brutal,
Dennis
and
Leary?
life-changing. Yeah.
This kid's gonna have broken bones.
Oh, yeah.
This kid's gonna be nursing an injury just like I am.
Yes.
And it might be on his member. He might get several
Penis
lashings.
punched.
Yes.
Even.
Dennis Leary's gonna dick punch this kid.
Yeah. Now that would have been hilarious. If they just slipped a dick punch into the script, I would have been there for it.
But who's got to get dick punched?
Anyone.
Smalls?
Literally anyone.
I think you got to make the fat kid get dick punched. You got to make Ham get dick punched.
Okay,
'Cause
that's
it's always
fine.
funnier when an injury happens to a fat guy.
We know this.
We know
Yeah,
this.
This is life.
That's an empirical rule. That's like a foundational on the pyramid of comedy. Injuring a fat person, that's foundational.
And say it with me at the same time, Jay. It's because fat people are not people.
I was just gonna let you sit in that one yourself. That's gonna be
That's the clip. That's how we
the clip.
advertise the podcast.
folks. That's the clip. Cut it. Print
Cut it, print it, check the gate, moving on. Cut, print, check the gate, moving on.
This movie, okay. So this movie, you don't have a nostalgia factor for it.
No.
Why not? Did you not see it when you were a child?
If I did, it's with the rest of my childhood buried in a haze of trauma. I don't think I saw it as a child. I don't remember seeing it as a child.
Okay. What was your first time seeing it that you remember?
My roommate Leonard Smith Jr. was watching it for another movie podcast, and I was like, oh, okay, I should probably watch this because everyone talks about it. It's a classic movie. I should see it.
Sure.
And I'm sorry, I can't go any further. I didn't mean that about the people that are overweight. I can't go any further.
I'm sorry, because we're going to keep that out of context in the clip
I know
from
this
this
is
part.
getting cut. I know this is getting cut. I have to say, it was a bit and a joke, and I can't.
You're only saying that because Leonard's fat.
I
You're only
can't
covering
say
yourself now.
No, there are so many people. Never mind. I'm just. I wanted to
covering
cover
your
myself
bases.
in the beginning because I felt bad saying it, but it was fun in the moment.
It was fun in the moment.
It was fun in the moment, but I feel bad now. And anyways,
That's comedy.
that is comedy.
Comedy is saying
Yes.
hurtful things that you
Yes.
feel bad about later.
Yes.
That's all it is.
And apologizing before they make you apologize is also important. You
Bingo.
have to recognize your mistakes. Not a mistake. It was a joke, but anyways, sorry. So I watched it with Leonard.
You're gonna love doing roast battle.
Watched it with Leonard.
You're gonna you're gonna spend half of your
as
set
soon-
on roast battle having a lot of fun, and then the other half in a dark part of the back of your head just apologizing constantly.
Yeah, because all these jokes that I'm telling at roast battle, out of context, are racist.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
That's roast battle.
I know. Anyways, let's get back to roast battling this movie.
This movie, The Sandlot, which
Yeah.
so you never saw it as a
So
kid.
I never saw it as a kid. Saw it as a 26, 27-year-old adult.
Okay.
I saw it like last year, I think. Yeah, and so obviously, like a lot of my arguments, the caveat to them is I'm not the target audience. It's made for children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there are still movies that I think are made for children that are good movies.
Angels in the Outfield, a baseball movie that's funny, fun, made for children,
I haven't
and a
seen
good
Angels in the
time.
Outfield in such a long time, so I can't.
That I
can't
did see
advocate
as a
for it.
child. I did see as a child. And it's because it had an incredible adult, and I think that's one of the failings of this movie. Too much kids. It had an incredible adult. The guy from Back to the Future.
Christopher Lloyd.
Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah,
yes,
he's the-
yes.
he's
I
the
was-
head angel.
I was blanking on his name, but he's hysterical. He's a funny person. Children cannot be funny. And when you fill a movie with them, you're at a dearth of humor at that point.
This sounds so academic.
It sounds so
You've used the words dearth. You've used vitriolic.
vitriolic.
You're
Yeah.
using some real $5 words in this
I'm
podcast.
throwing in as I want to seem smart and bigoted is what I'm going for.
That's actually, that is a good point. There are no adults in this movie there are some, right?
Yeah.
We've got Dennis Leary is the dad.
Yep.
You've got I feel so bad because I'm blanking on her name, but
I don't
she
know any
was
of
in
anyone's names.
Karen Allen. Karen Allen from Indiana Jones. She's Marion in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And she's in Scrooged. Love her in Scrooged. She's incredible in Scrooged. And you got James Earl Jones as the old blind baseball player
Well, it
at
was
the very
James
end of the
Earl
movie.
Jones. Yeah.
Who
Incredible.
good job, James Earl Jones. But also, now that I'm thinking about it, there's a lot of problems with the fact that he's a blind man who clearly does not have an actual trained seeing eye dog, but rather a vicious dog that will attack people on sight. There's obviously a reason why James Earl Jones has never left that house. I don't know how he stays alive. Who's bringing him stuff? Who's bringing him food?
Family. He must have family.
Where was the family when the entire when all of the dog chase scene happened? Where was the family?
Well, they visit him begrudgingly and once a week.
To replenish
Keep him
his
alive.
supplies and keep him alive.
He lives exclusively on Campbell's tomato soup and saltines and like Miller Lite, probably. And so they just stock him with stacks of those, and then let him be for a week, and then
show back
pray
up.
he's alive at the end of the week.
It's
and then show back
incredible
up.
for an exploitative family like
Yeah.
James Earl Jones has in this movie that they did not rob him of all of his baseball memorabilia when he literally could not see it.
Yeah,
That's impressive. Good job, family. Just showing just enough love.
just enough love.
But you're right. There's no real.
Now that was a fantastic little, imaginative riff, and I wish any of the people involved in creating the Sandlot had a fantastical imagination-based riff while writing or creating the movie. It would have made it entertaining.
I think that there will. We're gonna get to it,
sorry.
Austin.
Okay.
We're gonna get to it. I have one pitch for you.
In your pocket?
No.
Oh.
This is a lens cloth.
Okay.
That I'm fidgeting with because I'm debating if I need to clean my glasses.
They look clean from my angle.
Right, but I think
Are they
I need
clean
to
from-
really see your argument
Oh,
here.
okay.
No, I'm not. That was really stupid. I'm going to throw this away so I don't fidget with it during the podcast.
I wish there had been like a real moment
that I
in
have
there.
ready to go.
Yeah,
a
folded.
counter argument.
Yeah, written, folded.
I think. Hear me out. I was talking to Ben about this during the movie when I was watching it. I think that if they replaced the dad, Dennis Leary, with Willem Dafoe,
Okay.
that would have been an immediately, like, it goes up another star level automatically for me, or at least half a star.
Sure.
Because the level of intensity that Willem Dafoe would bring to this movie that Dennis Leary just doesn't bring to this movie.
Yeah.
Like, we need Lighthouse level.
Yes.
We need, like, Green Goblin level intensity
Yes.
from the dad. Because I'm not.
I too am a bit of a baseball player myself.
You want me to play catch with you? Back to the Sandlot?
Put this meat on your eye.
I think that if we had a level
A
of
villain.
like
Okay.
a villainous dad, like a
Right.
dad, because the kid Smalls, he's scared of his stepdad. He doesn't know whether to call him Dad or Bill. He keeps flip flopping back and forth. He's a little terrified of the guy still,
Yeah.
and I think that Dennis Leary gets away with seeming intimidating because Smalls is a scared child.
Yeah.
If we had an actual like menacing adult like Willem Dafoe, who looks a lot like Dennis Leary at this
Yeah.
time in their lives,
Yeah.
if we had him like ready to go full like sea shanty mode and murder his child for throwing away his prized baseball,
Yeah.
a level of gravitas that this movie just doesn't have.
True.
And I would be on board with it. Would you be on board with it?
Yeah, I'd be on board with it.
Okay,
Wouldn't
great.
save or change the movie in a noticeable way, but it would add that little bit of gravitas.
It would add some stakes.
100%.
It would make you feel like maybe there's actually some trouble that's going to happen if we don't save this baseball.
Yeah.
Which is again half of the movie that I completely forgot was
Yeah.
half of the movie.
Saving the baseball.
So let's talk about what you don't like about this movie. There's a lot.
Yeah.
You don't like pretty much the whole thing. What would
Yeah.
you rate this movie?
What would I rate this movie?
On a scale of
1 to 10.
1 to 10. Yeah.
Well, that's what IMDb uses, right?
Right.
So we should, I guess, we'll follow suit. Do you want to use some sort of strange, like...
I would, for in all of this time, we've never come up with a proper blockbusting rating scale.
Oh, no way.
So what do we rate?
Blockbusting. Okay, so would it be in like the theme of Blockbuster? Would it be like how many late fees? like, and the more late fees, the better the movie is because you've kept it for long.
Because you've kept it
keep
for longer.
Keep watching it. Maybe.
Oh, that's good.
That's a
That's a
pitch.
maybe.
That's a
That's a
pitch.
possibility.
It's a possibility.
Yeah. How many times you? Yeah, late fees. How many late fees does this movie get from you? It doesn't even get any. You returned it before you
no
even watched
late
it.
fees. I turn it on and then I'm like, this is boring. I take it out and I run straight back the same night. It's one of those. It ruins the movie night. If I'm living in the 90s when this movie came out and I go and I get it and I have to go all the way back. I go all the way back and I'm like, for the love of God, give me something good.
You're so mad at this movie, you don't even rewind it.
I'm yelling at the teenage Blockbuster clerk, like, how dare you? How dare you subject me, an adult man, to this? Give me the Matrix. They didn't come out. No, they did. I think the Matrix might have been out at that
The
point.
Matrix was not out. This movie
Because
came out in
92?
1993?
Oh, okay. 93, 92?
93. And
When was
The Matrix
Matrix?
was 99.
Okay. Well,
They
give
were
me
definitely still at the same
another
Blockbuster at the same
movie
time.
That is, anyways, yeah. I'm taking it straight back. No late fees.
Goodfellas.
No late fees. Give me Goodfellas. Goodfellas, I will owe the actual mob money to watch that movie over and over again. One of the greatest movies ever made. Not even in the same ballpark, pun intended. Because it's outside of the ballpark. Because, again, my biggest beef is baseball sucks. That's another beef of mine. I dislike baseball greatly.
This is not an uncommon thought.
Yeah.
We have come to a point now where baseball is a maligned sport.
It
And
is.
for good reason.
Yeah.
It's baseball is a social activity more than a sport. There's a
Ba-
reason they call it America's pastime.
It's
'cause
literally
not really a sport.
Oh, brilliant! Wow, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. You are a professional writer.
Thank you. Been sitting on that one for years. Never had an opportunity to bust it out
that was
literally until
excellent.
right now.
That was really good. My roast for baseball is baseball was invented by people who needed something to do after spending 6 hours at Golden Corral. Like, that's what that sport's good for. Like, hey, did you just eat an ungodly amount of Golden Corral steak, biscuits, and sugar-free pudding?
Did you hit the chocolate fountain too many times?
Why don't you stand there and hit a ball that's hurled at, like, why don't you stand there while an unathletic person throws a ball at another unathletic person who then attempts to run without running out of breath to first base? Like, that's base. And then, hey, are you real fucked up? Go stand in the yard. Just go stand in the yard for a while.
Here's
You
my
know?
problem, though.
What?
Is that I played baseball as a child.
Me too, briefly.
And hold on. You played baseball as a kid and you were not shown the Sandlot at any point?
Yeah, I think that's correct, yeah.
Wow.
Probably because there was kissing in it, non-consensual, and my parents were, like, really against all things kissing. That could have been
Yeah.
a reason. It could have been
My parents
censored.
were also against all things kissing.
could
but
have
I
been
feel like
censored.
because this is like it's a PG movie, so kissing's okay.
Yeah,
Even
true.
though this definitely we're skirting the
We'll
line
get there
of
later,
childish, boyish prank
Ooh.
in kissing.
Well, yeah, that whole scene is a big contention for me. But
Sure. Well, let's talk about that scene.
Okay, let's talk about that
This
scene.
is a scene, by the way. This is the scene that, speaking of roast battle, this scene comes up a lot for me because one of the like stock jokes that people use against me in roast battle, and you know, it started out with people making original jokes about it, but it's like a classic thing that people levy at me now is Squints from The Sandlot.
Oh yeah, okay.
Right? I look like I had literally
What was his name? Michael Squints Palladores.
Palladores, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got the guy,
Yep.
his uncle, who's the police chief.
Yeah.
He's going forever. Another classic scene from this movie.
Yeah.
But I showed up to a roast battle one time. My buddy Pat Parker and I were battling.
Also, if I had to pick, sorry, that would be my favorite scene. Him describing the dog is because he's like, there was 50 bodies, there was 170 bodies.
That
Like,
was
he
a
keeps
joke I
adding on.
completely like
Yeah.
glossed over as a
Yeah.
child that I appreciated
And it's
as
like
an
it
adult.
becomes drunk history because it's like he's saying it, and so then the policeman has to say it
Right.
over and over again.
They're throwing
Yeah.
the Flintstone sides of beef to
Yeah.
a dog who's just spitting out bones.
Yeah.
The dog is like Clifford the Big Red Dog,
Yeah.
but Cujo style. It's bad.
You were talking about a roast that you had with a friend.
Pat Barker showed up wearing a Squints from the Sandlot shirt to roast me,
Hilarious.
and it was hilarious. And I was like, "This man gets it. This
Yeah.
is one of the best roasters of all time." That battle, not a good battle. We both had a tough time with that one. I don't know why, but there's a picture that Pat sent me of that battle from years later. He gave it to me for my birthday, and it's both of us just like, because both of us are having a tough time.
Yeah.
Because anyway, this is a whole inside baseball thing that pun intended, I don't want to get into because we should talk about the squints and Wendy Peppercorn at the pool scene. You have a big problem with this scene.
Yes, and it's actually the kiss is like the least. That's actually not my biggest problem with the scene. My biggest problem with the scene is before that they are like looking at her and they're like, oh, she's so hot, she's so beautiful, and then they're like, she doesn't know what she's doing. No, she knows what she's doing. And the part about
she's putting the lotion on.
The part about that bothers me is, the actress is almost certainly 16 years old. Like, almost certainly.
Probably.
I know sometimes, like, I know a lot of times in movies they, like, use 18-year-olds for stuff, but because there's so many real kids around her, she's probably actually a 16-year-old. And the camera just lingers in their point of view for, like, a really uncomfortable amount of time. And it really uncomfortable angles, like, of another child.
Let's see. How old was she when this movie came out? I can't find it. She was... Okay. Can we do some math?
No. I personally am really bad at math.
Okay, I'm just going to pull up my calculator then.
Yes,
all right,
there you go,
so
there you go.
let's say this movie was shot in 1992, and she was born in 1974. So she was 18.
She was 18.
She was 18.
All right, that does save
Which also,
that scene for me a little bit. That does save that a little bit.
It saves a little bit because there's the scene right beforehand where there's a literal just like a butt shot of her walking away in a green dress.
Yeah.
Which, when I was watching, I was like, how old is she supposed to be? I don't know how old the character's supposed to be.
16 usually, right? That's when
Probably
you start
15, 16.
Start lifeguarding, your first kind of summer lifeguard jobs, I believe.
Yeah, I was a lifeguard. I got my lifeguarding license when I was 15.
Did you lifeguard in Dallas?
No, I was a summer camp lifeguard.
All right.
I learned how to lifeguard at a place in Dallas, but I actually worked at a summer camp.
Nice.
And they said I could come back and lifeguard at their water park if I wanted to.
Cool.
But I never took them up on it.
Promotion.
I got the
promotion. Well, hey, we'll put you on the dollar slide.
Listen,
no one talks like that wherever you are.
You want to come back to Keller anytime, you can come to our indoor water slide.
You can be the top. You can be the big man. You can throw them. You can throw kids down that slide.
You can be the fucking king of the lazy river.
Listen, I was the king of the lazy river for 3 summers. That's how I met my first, second, and third wife.
There's but so the Wendy Peppercorn scene.
Yeah.
So they're lusting after this.
Yeah.
Older lady, older girl.
Yeah.
And he jumps into the pool because he's got a plan.
Yes.
He knows he's going to drown himself, and she's going to save him.
Yeah.
And then he's gonna kiss her.
Yeah, and he grabs at first he's already gotten away with so much when she's doing mouth to mouth on him.
Yes.
Because he's conscious for that. So he's gotten away with so much, and then he goes for the kill shot and grabs the back of her head. Which you're not supposed to do in any circumstance with women, even in relationships.
No.
Terrible
Grabbing
move.
the back of the head, that's not a sensuous move.
It's also rarely going to be a part of a consensual experience.
No.
Rare. Sometimes, I mean, there are relationships. Obviously, everyone has their own whatever.
If you're somebody who you're going for grabbing the back of the head, please write into @Blockbusting Pod on whatever
subject
social
line,
media platform.
I grab heads, motherfucker. Put that in the subject line.
Dear Penthouse, I never thought it could happen to me
Dear
until
Jay.
I got my head grabbed outside of a pool.
If you've had your head grabbed. Also, if you were ever a young lifeguard and you were maybe sexually assaulted by a child, please write it into Blockbusting Pod as well.
Yes.
Tell us that story.
Tell us that story.
Tell us that story.
Well, here's the other thing, too. It's bad lifeguarding.
Yeah.
I will say this, as a former lifeguard who went through Red Cross lifeguard training, bad lifeguard.
Yeah.
All right? First of all, maybe this is because it's in the 50s. Maybe they don't have up-to-date training yet. But they don't have...
certainly.
She doesn't have any sort of buoyancy
It's also, it is
device.
1962.
It's the
Ben
60s.
corrected me because I thought it was in the 50s, and then Ben did the research, and I was watching it, and it said Founders Day 1962 on one
That's
scene.
right.
But that doesn't change the fact that their medical knowledge was slim.
She doesn't even go... Before she starts doing mouth-to-mouth, she should lift the head, check the airway for breathing, check to see if his chest is rising or falling. I guarantee
Flip
it
him
probably
over.
was.
See if there's water in there.
Yeah.
Shake him out.
Turn him on his side.
Like you're getting change out
Let
of
him
his pockets.
aspirate. Yes. Well, don't do that.
Oh.
This is
You
not.
don't want the water to flow forth?
You, you shouldn't. Here's a heads up for anybody who's trying to be a lifeguard out there. Don't pick up somebody and just shake
the water out.
Shake the water out. Don't do that.
Like a towel.
But this is bad lifeguarding.
If you're listening to this for lifeguarding advice, you get what you deserve.
That's a great point. If somehow over 300 episodes in, you thought, man, this podcast about lifeguarding really hasn't talked about lifeguarding at all until this moment. This is kind of weird. You're better off learning CPR from the training dummy at the Minneapolis airport that exists, by the way. I found that out a couple weeks ago.
Did you learn anything? At the
I already know
airport?
CPR.
Yeah, but did you play with the dummy?
No.
Okay.
I'm not certified anymore, but I know how CPR works.
Okay, good.
I don't need to go practice on a weird arcade style CPR machine.
Yeah.
At the Minneapolis airport.
Nah.
You know what I'm gonna do? Is I'm gonna eat a bagel.
It's because they have so many lakes in Minnesota. That's
It's
why.
a land of 10,000 lakes.
It's a land of 10,000 lakes. So they're like, well, there's going to be somebody who's getting on a boat and has to pull their uncle out of the lake. Let's let him practice now.
Do we know, by the way, where this movie's supposed to be set?
The Valley.
It says
like California.
It says the Valley, and I
Yep.
assumed it meant the San Fernando Valley.
As did I.
But they, I couldn't really tell.
No.
Because it feels the Valley is a very like Americana seeming kind of place.
The only other place called the Valley is in like Phoenix, right?
I don't know.
I only know that because of the basketball jerseys, I thought.
Phoenix is the Valley. There's also Death Valley, which is in Nevada.
It's definitely not that.
It's definitely not that. That would have been a very different movie.
Yeah, that would have been like Mad Max and
Mad
baseball.
Max and the Sandlot.
It'd been like
which
Mad Max meets Holes.
I would actually totally watch.
Same.
I would love to watch
Holes, another great
Holes!
child's movie. Another great child's movie. Is that PG-13?
Holes is PG.
It's PG.
Very close to being PG-13.
Excellent movie.
But Holes also has a level of like, stakes to it.
Yes.
The Sandlot stakes, they're minimal. And I think that's okay. I think it's okay for the Sandlot to have minimal stakes. Because I feel like if this is this is a hangout movie, right? Like this is not a movie
With who? Children?
Yeah.
This is a babysit movie.
Right.
Yes.
So you never got babysat by your television?
No, I mean I did, for sure. I did, for sure.
I'm shocked that you had not seen this movie.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Me too.
This is beside the point.
Right.
Let's talk about the other reasons that you don't like.
Well,
the
also,
Sandlot.
let's just finish that because
let's get into that point.
After he sexually assaults her, the voiceover. Okay, wait. All right.
She kicks him out of the pool.
I'm like, I have too many reasons I hate this. She kicks him out of the pool. It goes through, and then the voiceover says what he done was sneaky, rotten, and low. Stop there.
Mm-hmm.
But then the voiceover says, and cool. Endorsing the behavior. And then she smiles at him through the fence and waves, indicating that she actually did like
She
it. And
actually did
Squints
like it.
got away with it.
Well, because she'd already given him a look when they were walking by.
Oh, right.
This is already something that maybe this is his misguided opportunity to make a move.
Yes.
It's the 60s.
Yes.
It's not something that anyone should do now, and don't do it.
No.
But I can see why all of his friends were like, "Wow, you, a bespectacled loser who plays baseball with the other poor kids, kissed a lady."
Crazy. The
Got banned from the
contact
pool.
itself was.
This is a story that he definitely told during fraternity pledging.
Oh, yeah.
Like this is a story that Squints.
Oh, yeah.
Especially because they got married and had children together.
Wait, they end up getting married. Oh, that's the part of the movie that I haven't. That's why I haven't.
That's
gotten
the
to
part you
finish.
haven't gotten to the very end.
They do end up getting married.
They get married and it becomes okay. They get married and I think they say they have 9 kids together.
They bail him out. Oh,
Yeah.
they have 9 kids together because she just loved banging him so much.
Yes.
And probably one of them was Catholic.
I feel like there's definitely some strong religion vibes in this movie.
I forgot to mention
Subtle.
at the beginning, this movie loses me in the first opening sentence of the movie for 2 reasons. One, it starts with a voiceover. And as we know, in the words of Robert McKay, voiceover is flaccid, sloppy writing. Any idiot can write voiceover narration to explain the thoughts of a character.
We're sitting right behind you. Story by Robert McKay.
Anyone. Listen, as we know from this book and the movie adaptation, where Robert Cox? No.
Who wrote it?
Who's the dad? Who's the dad in Succession?
Oh,
that Cox.
Brian Cox.
Brian Cox.
Yes.
Has that monologue where he's talking about how voiceover's sloppy. Anyways,
Voiceover is sloppy, and it is one of the things that I do think this movie unfortunately does, and it does to its detriment. I do think that we can have a movie that
we didn't need it, but
don't
that
need it.
is but a preamble to the true thing that bothers me. He says the greatest moment in sports history is when Babe Ruth points and hits the ball over the fence because no one had ever done it before. The greatest moment in sports history for me, and certainly in baseball, is when Doc Ellis, June 12th, 1970, Doc Ellis pitches a no-hitter on acid.
this is a great sports moment.
No-hitter. Give me that movie. No-hitter on acid. Some fat white guy points at the fence, and you're like, greatest thing ever. And then this other dude pitches a no-hitter on acid. Sensational. That's the greatest sports story I've ever heard. Definitely the best baseball one.
Here I have a pitch for you.
Okay.
For somebody who hates this movie, and also ostensibly hates baseball.
Yeah.
You have some moments that you love, right? I have a pitch.
No, I have one moment I love.
I have a pitch.
Okay.
Hear me out.
Yeah.
So let's take the Sandlot. It's set in the 60s, right? It's early 60s, right? We're coming off of Eisenhower's probably still president. They're still selling war bonds. All this bullshit's happening with Korea. Who knows?
Okay.
Let's fast forward a little bit. Let's
Kennedy?
get to the end of the 60s.
Okay.
Let's set this movie like right before Nixon, like Gerald Ford, like Kennedy just got assassinated.
Yes.
We've got
Johnson's
LBJ.
president.
Yeah.
The
Civil
bull.
rights
The
movement's
bull.
happening.
Yep.
Johnson and his big old dick are
Yes.
swinging around the White House.
Crazy.
This movie comes out. Well, it's not comes out. This movie is set during that time.
Yeah, okay.
And the Doc Ellis story, that happened. When did that happen? Was that in the
1970.
70s? So this happened in the 70s.
June 12th, 1970.
Okay. Let's see a movie that's set in like 1971 where all of the kids are a little bit older.
Yes.
So that way you don't feel weird about a bunch of children doing acid. Let's say it's high
Thank
schoolers.
you.
And
Let's put it in college so we can have some real fun.
now now we're getting to some real PCU territory, and I appreciate that. Let's have a coming of age baseball movie, but it's about people who are doing drugs and they don't really care
Yes.
about baseball. Because then a
Yes.
lot of the second half of the movie makes sense.
Yes.
Because that's why they're all scared of a dog that's really not that bad of a dog.
Yeah.
It's because they're all on acid the whole time.
Yep.
And not just children.
They're we should
As
that'd
opposed,
be great.
And now but we're stuck with a bunch of children who, when you think about it, children are kind of on drugs the entirety of
Yeah.
their lives. They got a different view of the world. They got crazy imaginations. They're tripping balls.
They think things are going to be okay. They're not.
No, never.
Yeah.
Never gonna be okay.
No,
Any
things get bad.
kids?
Things get bad.
What else? So okay,
So I don't like the
You don't like the
children. I don't
children.
like the setting.
you don't like the setting. You don't.
I don't like baseball.
You don't like. Those are the three of the four biggest elements of this movie.
Yeah.
You don't like. There's no adults.
Don't like there's no
That's four.
adults. Don't like there's for me. I know we can argue there's humor, but I don't really think there's any real jokes.
I will say this. This is definitely a movie that is more humorous than funny. That is a good point. Like, you're making points I can't deny, but I still have. It's hard to see through the nostalgia
Listen,
factor.
as an intellectual, I see that it's funny. I do see that
That's
it's
humor
funny.
for you.
Now that is, and we can all agree that is humorous, right?
Yes, humor. Humor's this. We don't.
Yeah.
We've over.
It's lighthearted. It's like joke.
It's
like
jokesy. There's something funny about seeing a dog that definitely did not do it, but destroy an erector set and send it flinging and smoking across. Like, I laughed at that.
There's something funny about their
laughed
roast
at-
battle that they have
Yeah.
in the middle of the movie. There's
Yeah.
something funny about that for sure.
Yeah, that's funny. Even
Yeah.
though it's mostly just them using all of the non-swear words that they were allowed to use.
And
This is
then
those kids' favorite day on set.
Denigrating women.
Yeah, you play ball like a girl.
Girl. Yeah.
Which when Ben, I told him you want to do this episode, and
Oh,
then he
yeah.
said you podcast like a girl.
And I was like, well, I do have a lot of female energy.
I know, that's how much you hated this movie, though, is that you didn't even get
like,
the reference.
I was like, I've been on 3 podcasts. First of all, can't believe he
you just thought Ben was straight insulting you.
I thought Ben was listening to my had listened to podcasts that I'd done. Insane. and then and was like you podcast like a girl, and I was like, yeah, I've never really seen myself as a man's man. That's true.
How
I'm wearing lavender, 2 different shades of lavender.
I can't even tell. That looks like
Yeah.
gray to me.
Your glasses are smudged.
That I should have cleaned them.
It's
God
probably
damn it, Austin.
It's probably grayish with tints, whatever.
Why in the world then do you feel like this movie? I mean, is it just the nostalgia thing? Do you feel
Yeah.
like that's the only reason why people really like this movie?
I think they only like it because they saw it at a time when they were happy, and it reminds them of that time. And congrats on having a great childhood.
See, I don't even know if I was happy when I saw this movie.
Oh.
Because I was bad at baseball.
Yeah.
I identified with Smalls
yeah.
because I was bad at baseball, but
Yeah.
also I wasn't friends with any of the kids on my baseball team. Like we weren't hanging out, you know?
Yeah.
I was sort of I had friends, but none of my friends were like the kids I played baseball with.
Yeah.
And I was bad at baseball too. I think I mostly did baseball because like my parents needed some, like they were just trying to shuffle me around to different activities to like until I found something that worked. Because that's what you do with a child. You just to
Park
cart
'em.
them around.
Park
and you're
them
like,
places.
Girl Scouts, is that going to work out for my daughter? Nope. All right, let's try out gymnastics then.
Yep.
What was your like childhood activities?
A lot of sports. We did all sports, and I was also bad at them. So I played, like, as a child, I tried all the sports. So I
Okay.
tried soccer, I tried baseball, I tried
Yep,
gymnastics,
yep.
I tried karate.
Yep. I did taekwondo, but it's similar.
I ended up
It
playing.
was at a place called Master Hans Karate, but it was actually taekwondo.
Perfect. That's so good.
Got taught by a guy named Master Jerry who had a full-on
good.
denim gi.
Denim gi and a mullet.
He didn't have a mullet. He had a
Okay.
high and tight.
Okay,
he looked
okay.
like he got kicked out of the Marines for doing too many keg stands.
Yeah,
a little
yeah,
bit.
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Love that guy. He was great.
Listen, Sergeant, we're gonna have to let you go. You just love to party more than you love to kill.
I found out shortly before I left doing Master Hans Taekwondo, he starred in a local action movie, and I have never seen it, and I would love to find it someday.
yeah.
If anybody
Google
knows-
that, that's awesome.
I wish I remembered his full name. All I remember is Master Jerry, and that's all I got.
Wow.
That's all I got.
Maybe you could just Google like the name of the karate place and then like local film, because that sounds like something like a local article would come out.
Oh
and
yeah,
they're
it
like,
probably
hey,
was in the
look
Colleyville Courier.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Colleyville. Exactly. There would almost certainly be an article in that,
Yeah.
maybe at some point. Whether or not it's archived in a way that you can find is up for debate. But
We'll find.
You could look.
We'll see.
Ben?
Maybe I gotta go back.
Ben,
I gotta go
task.
go to the Colleyville Public Library and look up the microfiche for the Colleyville Courier.
Yes.
What do you think then? If this movie, if there's any way, is there any way to fix this movie in your mind? I mean, I already threw out my Willem Dafoe idea, and you
That's a
seemed
great idea.
on board with that.
Well, I think adding Willem Dafoe to literally any movie is always a good idea.
Let's have Willem Dafoe.
He's a good. He can be in anything.
The child. Let's have him be Smalls.
Oh my God, yes.
Um,
I'm in.
what else? What do you think? Like, is there anything else that you feel like could fix the movie? Like that made it? I mean, it seems like you want some stakes.
Yeah, I think. Okay. I think if you took it in a Stranger Things direction, like if there was some sort of like actual bad guy in the, like somebody's breaking into houses, someone's breaking into houses and things are being stolen. And so the kids, like this baseball team, they band together and they like stake it out. Like, their sleepover they have, that's them staking out the house. They find the robber, and the robber turns out to be his new stepdad.
Oh,
And they and he's like running away, and then so like they pitch the ball, and then they hit a home run, and it hits the robber, and it like hits him in the head, and he falls, and then they arrest him, and they're like, good job, kids, you saved the day.
So you want this movie to be a baseball heist movie?
I want it to be a baseball heist movie, yeah.
Okay.
And I also want there to be like more adult characters involved. I want it to be less focused on children the entire time. I don't think we need to
This is
change.
reasonable.
We don't need to change the rating at all. Like it can still be PG. We
It can still be a family-friendly movie.
Still
It
be
can
family
on Disney
friendly.
Plus.
Yeah, there doesn't need to be anything like outrageous. There could be like a legitimate love story, even with children, which I wouldn't love, but I would recognize as like a good idea.
It exists.
It
It's
exists, yeah.
Little Rascals has one,
Exactly.
right? Even though we do have a boner reference in Little Rascals.
Yes.
Because of Alfalfa's
Alfalfa's
hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It exists.
and that's fine. Like that's like kind of like sweet and like all right, like that's cool. That could happen. They could like it could be she thinks he's a loser and then she sees him hit the ball and hit the guy because it's her house that's being broken into or whatever. And they all think that they're perverts because they're like camped out around this girl's house and they're like, get out of here. And we're like, no, it's the next target. We solved the clues because the guy's leaving clues and they're putting the clues together of like what the next house
This
will
is
be.
very elaborate. This is like the Virgin Suicides meets Scooby-Doo meets The Sandlot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
True.
do actually
True.
think there's a market for this movie, and you
True.
should write this movie.
No, I think we need to go back to writing our baseball on acid college movie.
Oh, actually, yeah.
we need to write.
We're going to the
that's
Doc Ellis
what
movie.
we need to do a Doc Ellis movie.
We need to do the Doc Ellis
The
experience.
Doc Ellis story.
Let's
yeah,
make it happen.
Exactly.
If
So
there's
that's what I'm saying. I think add stakes in that way. Add real stakes for me.
Interesting.
Add real stakes. Add bigger things. Add crime. Implied violence.
Just crime.
Crime and implied violence would really help me.
okay,
That would really help me.
You know what?
That would really help me.
I do see your point.
And better jokes. Like give us like at least one laugh out loud, like something. Please.
Okay.
But I guess we'll disagree on that.
We're gonna disagree on that.
because you laughed out loud.
I laughed out loud.
Which means most people laughed out loud, and so I'm probably wrong about that one.
But also, you're not wrong in the fact that like a lot of this movie, when I was rewatching it yesterday or 2 days ago, I was sitting there going, "Oh, what a good time! What a nice way to spend an afternoon."
I just was so bored during. I'm like, oh, come on. They're just playing baseball badly. Come on.
I watched it the same day I went to an actual Dodgers game.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I did have more fun at the Dodgers game.
That's
than
crazy.
watching
You go
the
to those
movie.
things sober. You
Yeah.
just sit in the stands with a hot dog, like baseball's fun. Or I guess you talk to your friends. Probably.
It's a
Yeah.
hang.
It's a
That's all
hang,
baseball
yeah.
is. I was
Exactly,
there. I was
exactly.
sitting. It was the roast battle night at the Dodger Stadium.
I saw that. Yeah,
and I was sitting there explaining the rules of baseball to people who were too drunk and high who'd never been to a baseball game before, who came, and I
So
was like,
fun.
so this is how it works. And it was a great time. And there's a lot of cheering.
You mean third base blowjobs is from baseball?
Exactly.
Like, yes, it is.
I will.
Oh.
I said it then, and I'll say it now. My favorite part of going to a baseball game is just getting to yell "ba-da-da-da-ba-da, charge!" Because who doesn't love that?
That's true. That's fun.
That's the
fun.
best part.
I've not been to a Dodgers game yet, and I should remedy that.
It is a beautiful stadium.
Yeah.
You could go.
Yeah,
One of these days.
I should go.
We're almost in the postseason. You know,
Wow.
Now's the time. They're starting to do some really crazy giveaways.
Okay.
Yeah. I got a free hat one time. I've got several bobbleheads. I got a Sandy Koufax statue. They do some sweet giveaways at Dodger
Sandy
Stadium.
Koufax was good at baseball.
Yes, he was.
Nice.
Yeah, one of the most fabled pitchers and one of the only famed Jewish athletes.
Whoa.
Good job, Sandy Koufax.
What? Larry Bird, another famous Jewish athlete.
Was Larry Bird Jewish?
I don't know.
I don't think
Just
so.
white?
I think he's just white.
Okay.
What do you think? So you hate The Sandlot.
Yeah.
What do you think people should watch instead of The Sandlot? If there's other Sandlot haters out there, what should they watch?
Angels in the Outfield.
Okay.
If you
Angels
want
in
a
the Outfield
funny baseball movie,
Saved it.
I'm trying to think of like you mean in the same world, right?
It
or am I
doesn't
just
have
supposed
to
to say
be.
good movies? Well, then watch Goodfellas. If you haven't seen Goodfellas, watch Goodfellas.
Okay, that's obvious. Fine. All right. Yeah. Maybe we're going back to like coming of age style.
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay. Coming of it. Well, I'll be honest. I don't like the whole genre.
Have you? Wait. You don't like the whole coming of age genre?
I don't like anything that has to do with childhood or like
What?
children. Yeah, I don't like it at all.
What?
Yeah.
Austin.
Yeah.
This is a whole. This is a whole other.
Well,
that's
this
a whole
is
other episode.
why I'm in therapy.
It's because you hate childhood.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's
because
fair.
I hate and can barely remember my
I
childhood.
guarantee I'm going to talk to my therapist about this tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you know.
He's gonna be like, so I met someone who like doesn't like the Sandlot. What do you think's wrong with him? They're like schizophrenia, without a doubt.
I will come back.
He just armchair diagnosed me with something horrible.
And you can find out the diagnosis and skirt HIPAA guidelines by subscribing to my Patreon.
Yes, we will be doing another episode on Patreon with me where we talk about what we think it means to be schizophrenic.
Have you ever seen Field of Dreams? Because I feel like that's also sort of
Oh.
in the same vein, but I've never seen Field of Dreams, so I
have
can't-
never
I
seen.
have
That's
no
the if
idea.
you build it, they'll come and the ghosts play baseball.
Yeah. Nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah, that sounds horrible.
It got nominated for a shitload of
Yeah,
Oscars.
so did so many movies though. So did so many bad movies that
That's
got
true.
nominated for a shitload of Oscars.
Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close got nominated for Oscars.
Didn't see that one. What was the one this year that everyone saw? I'm not going to talk shit about current ones, but
No, talk shit about it. Is it what, Coda?
I didn't see it, so I can't talk shit about it. 'Cause
Wait,
I don't know anything
the
about
one,
it.
the one from this year that everybody, or
It
the
was
one
Coda,
that won the
right?
Oscar? Coda.
Oh, I was thinking of Power of the Dog. That was the one that I was thinking of. that
Oh,
people
Power of the
loved.
Dog is bad.
And I didn't see it, but I did see that it was about I don't know, it looked slow. I saw the trailer and I was like, ugh.
It's
boy.
I did an episode about it.
Okay.
Listen if you haven't. Andrew Murphy hates Power of the Dog. I didn't like Power of the Dog. I do
Okay.
think it was really. It's not that it was slow. I kind of mind a slow movie.
Yeah.
I just think that the whole premise of the movie is a guy is mean because he's closeted, and that's just like such a shitty trope.
Yeah.
It's so played out. And for them to be like, oh, well, it's a Western. So
We already
all of a
have
sudden
that,
it's-
though. We already
Yeah.
have, what's the Brokeback Mountain? We already have that.
Yeah.
The straight cowboy is actually gay and falls in love.
And
we have
also-
that, and it's been done. I mean, Brokeback Mountain's
Brokeback
incredible.
Mountain is an incredible
That's
movie.
a great movie.
Yeah.
That's a great movie. Watch Brokeback Mountain instead of The Sandlot.
If you're going to be for a very different movie night,
switch that out for your kids and see how they feel.
definitely more kissing that seems
Definitely
consensual
a
in
lot of
Brokeback
consensual
Mountain
kissing.
than in The Sandlot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Everybody gets kissed at Brokeback Mountain.
Everybody getting kissed.
Yeah.
That's the tagline.
Everybody-
Everybody's getting kissed at
gets
Brokeback Mountain.
Mountain. Welcome to our camp, Brokeback Mountain. Everybody gets kissed.
Hey, you want to get kissed? Come on to Brokeback
Come on
Mountain.
down to Brokeback
You
Mountain.
You want to be bored for about an hour and a half? Watch The
Watch The
Sandlot and be
Sandlot.
named Austin Kress.
Yep.
Speaking of Austin Kress,
Uh-huh.
what a great guest. Thank you so much
for having
coming
me.
on.
Once again, I feel bad for saying that fat people aren't people. I'm just going to bring that back up. So if you cut it earlier, then I apologize again. I will continue to apologize.
And if you want to hound Austin for an apology for
yeah.
making fun of fat people,
Yeah.
where can you do that on his social media?
You can find Austin Kress, who has opinions like the earlier opinions, at Kress_Austin. Or if you want someone who's just like nice and kind and genuinely a good person, follow at Stony McBlaze.
Stoney is a delight.
Stony is nice and kind, and Stony is it's my highest self in all forms Stony McBlaze on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Follow him. He's a lot of fun. He's incredibly nice. He's never mean. He's not like Austin. Nah. Austin hates things. Stony, I don't think hates very much of anything.
Stoney doesn't have he doesn't even know the meaning of the word vitriolic.
No, he would be like,
take the dictionary-
vitriol, what?
Yeah, he took the dictionary page that it's on and
And
rolled a joint
rolled a
with
fat
it.
joint
Rolled
with
a
it.
fatty
And
with
like,
it.
I like the words make it burn longer. That's what Stoney would say.
You can
Yeah.
find, go follow Austin and Stoney on all the social medias. You can find at Diet J is me, at Blockbusting Pod is the podcast on all social media platforms.
Speaking of you, Diet J's TikTok recently was hysterical.
Oh, which
the
one?
The one where you're like, how did Adam Levine do this? He's an LA 6 and a Maroon 5.
One of the stupidest jokes. I've decided I'm gonna start going back and making TikToks again and just try and do dumb jokes because that's all I
That
do.
was
It's
really funny.
It's most what I do on Twitter is really dumb jokes, and I'm like, I'm just gonna do on TikTok and read them out loud.
Oh, that was really funny.
Thank you.
Casey and I laughed very hard at that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I love a good
was-
dumb joke.
But it's not, though. It's not dumb. It's smart because no one thinks. It's smart because it takes the obvious and reapplies it in a way that's funny.
Damn.
It's not a dumb joke. It's
Damn.
a really good joke.
Okay, I'm
And
gonna.
there's a reason that no one else has done it. You're the only one that did it.
I
It's
guess.
a great joke.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn, Austin, you got me feeling myself now.
You should. You should keep feeling yourself.
I will feel myself.
It's a great shirt too.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thanks everybody.
Terry
No, I'm just
Cloth.
kidding. I can't do the. I do the outro.
You
to
can't
your
do the
podcast.
outro. You haven't even talked about Patreon yet.
Oh yeah.
Subscribe.
Subscribe to Patreon.
It's,
Okay.
it's
There's
a-
bonus content.
It's only It's only $1 for the bonus content and $5 if you want to get access to the full JFlix streaming library.
What do you get if you pay $5, Jay?
Access to the full JFlix streaming library.
And what is JFlix? It's
movies.
Jewish Netflix.
We've got Fiddler on the Roof. We've got what unorthodox?
Yep.
That's it.
We've got all of Woody Allen's movies.
That's the only place you can get
That's
him
the
still.
only place you can get him still.
We got Blue Jasmine. We got if you liked Woody Allen before he started dating his 15-year-old stepdaughter, we gotcha. If you liked him afterwards, we gotcha.
But J-Flix really though is a collection of movies that you like.
Yes,
That you've curated.
I've never actually told the story of how this came to be, and
Yeah.
this is we're going long, and I will explain this as the way to go long. Okay.
Yeah.
Because we can clip this out and save it for later, social media people. So, okay, J-Flix came about. So, literally, when I first moved to Los Angeles, I had a DVD collection, right?
Yeah.
I was a film nerd. I went to film school, had a big-ass DVD collection. I went through a pretty bad breakup early on in my time in L.A. I was living with the girl I was dating at the time, and then we broke up, and then through a series of, like, me not knowing really how to like handle the situation, I wound up paying rent on multiple places at the same time, and I was not living at one of those places.
Yeah.
Through a series of things that I did that were bad. I made some bad decisions. And also, you know, she's got a part in it, but I got a part in it. We'll leave it at that, right?
Yeah.
I was really hurting for money, and so I took all of my DVDs. I was like, I don't know what the fuck to do. I took all of my DVDs and I sold them at Amoeba Music to
Okay.
make rent one month.
Did it work?
It worked.
You made rent with your DVDs?
Not exclusively with my DVDs, but it got me over
was
the finish
enough?
line. It was
Oh
enough.
my
I
God.
had a
Nice.
fat collection
Nice.
of DVDs.
What do you know? Which one was the most valuable? Was there like different value amounts?
Oh, I mean,
like
I
video
had some,
games.
I
you
had
know?
some Criterion Collection
Oh,
ones.
wow. Okay.
I had some that I was surprised at how valuable they were. Like I had a really nice There Will Be Blood that was really valuable.
Ooh, okay.
I was some that I was surprised at how valuable they were not. Like I had a
Oh.
copy of The King of Kong, which I thought was like, this is a cult
Wait,
movie.
The
that
King
people
of
love.
Kong?
You've never seen this movie?
No, I thought you were mispronouncing King Kong.
Incredible movie. One of my favorites.
You know, the King of Kong.
The King of Kong.
He's on the island.
The
He's
monkey
the
boy.
giant monkey.
I love The King of Kong, and
Yeah.
I was like, nobody has this DVD, and it was like one of the least expensive ones out of my whole collection.
Wow.
But before I sold all of them,
Mm.
I was like, I have to keep an archive of these.
Yeah.
So I ripped all of them to my computer
Nice.
into an external hard drive.
Nice.
And then years later, I discovered the app Plex, which is what
Yes.
J-Flix is hosted on.
Yes.
And so now I have all of those movies available for streaming whenever I
Nice.
want. So I still have that collection. There's a lot of really like I said, like The King of Kong is in there.
Yeah.
That's a movie. I don't know if you can find it on streaming anywhere, or I'm
Yeah.
sure if it is, it's probably you got to pony up some money for it, and you got to pony up money for this too. But it's only $5.
And it's
a
great
month.
too because if you have, because my roommate had this, one of my old roommates had this same thing, and so if you have like an Xbox and probably a PlayStation also, but definitely on the Xbox, there's a Plex app.
Yeah, there's a Plex app on all
there's
of
a,
your.
there's a Plex app, so
you
it's
can go on
really
any smart
easy.
TV, Xbox, PS4,
Yep.
Switch might have it. My TV, my smart TV has it. You can get it on your laptop, your desktop,
So it's very easy
Your
to
phone.
access JFlix. So it's really worth the money.
and you get to see all of the movies that I agonized over having to throw away the physical copies to, as a 23-year-old.
Wow.
What a time! What a time! That's how JFlix came to be. Anyway,
So it's crazy how much, because of that and now the Patreon, how much money you truly have made off these DVDs.
oh, I haven't made that much money off of the Patreon yet, and that's why you should
No,
subscribe to
but you
JFlix.
will.
Theoretically,
After this episode, you will.
when you hear the origin story.
Yep.
Anyway, Austin,
Jay,
what a time!
thank you for having me. This was a blast.
Thank you for doing the show.
Of course, I love it. I love your beautiful Apple cult compound that we film in.
Thank you.
It's gorgeous and somewhat terrifying.
And
And
my-
that is how all things should be.
My water finally cooled down by the end of the episode, which is all I've been hoping for.
Dreams come true.
Dreams come true.
All right. Fuck the Sandlot.
This has been Blockbusting. Go see something good for a change.